Your attitude towards this one thing affects your future more than almost anything else. Yes, I'm talking about the perception of mistakes. You'll make them very often, and this is normal. The most important is to remember that mistakes, they harden us, they teach us to continue on our way. But at the same time, they make people give up if they can't learn from them. Mistakes can't be avoided and basically shouldn't be, because they follow any progress. There is no plus without the minus. For each victory there are 10 failures. So only the strongest wins here, and you are one of them. In this video I would like to tell you about my attitude to mistakes. And as usually, let me start from my life story. I will tell you about my first university, where I received my bachelor's degree in management. At the age of 17, I was enrolled in the University of Architecture and Civil Engineering. At that time, this particular direction, it seemed very promising to me. I thought something like this: okay, people also need housing, so in any case I'll find out how to use my future skills. Now I understand that these were the thoughts of my relatives, because you can say the same about anything. People will always need a psychologist just to speak out, masseurs because they have a backache. The list is endless, but I like the idea to start my construction business in several years. After several months I realized everything in fact is not as I imagined. I don't like this field. I decided that I made a huge mistake by entering the university that wasn't a good fit for me. But you know what? Today I understand that in fact it was an amazing, a wonderful decision, and I would repeat my choice again. I always had a lot of free time because my study, it wasn't intense, and I invested it to develop my projects. There wasn't a week when I stood still doing nothing. Absolutely always I was building something of my own. In that time I was very active in non-profit activities, in retail, in organizing events and many others. Not only that, I met amazing people and learned how to communicate, maintaining the warm relations over the year. In general, I don't think that it was a mistake that time. And here we go to my lessons and conclusions. First, you never know. Maybe today's mistake, it will lead to a huge victory tomorrow. This is exactly what happened with my university. I thought that I was wrong, but in fact it's other way around. It allowed me to gain huge practical experience, what made me much stronger. Many of my subsequent victories happened precisely because of that choice, and that's great. I'm amazed to know that. Everything is interconnected, and the main thing is not to stand still. Sooner or later your actions will lead you to the goal. Even when you are not sure that you are on the right track, just listen to your inner voice and follow it. Almost any experience is much more useful than its absence. It's like a tool in your hands. Even if you don't know how to use it today, you'll find out the use tomorrow. And do you know why? Because by then you'll go through even more mistakes and lessons and become the better version of yourself. Mistakes push you forward and don't let you to make a stop. Basically, they can open the doors that you haven't even noticed before. We are always surrounded by infinite number of new opportunities, but in 99% of cases we don't even see them. When you mistake, you always make a choice. And each choice, it's like a fork, you know? You decide to turn one way or another. You can't control your past, but the future is up to you. So make the most from your tools. Find opportunities where you saw only losses before, and you'll become the different person who is happy with any outcome of events. Went to the right? Great, you made an amazing choice. Went to the left and made a mistake? Great, because you gain new experience. Remember that life is much more complicated than we think. You never know what will happen tomorrow. The second conclusion is that every time I make a mistake, I consider it like a payment for not doing it in the future. Here my logic is very simple. I really believe that my life, it will be very interesting. In fact, it's quite interesting even now, but I'll raise the bar. I know that I'll have a lot of achievements. I believe that in 5 and 10 years I'll look back at me sitting here right now at this moment and realize that I made a huge way. The stakes will be much higher, my wins and mistakes will be much bigger. I know that for sure it will inevitably happen. And from this I make a conclusion. Any mistake today is much cheaper than the mistake tomorrow. The more bruises I'll get now, the more experienced I'll be in the future. If I lost money with a bad investment, I won't do the same when I will be a millionaire. Not only that, I also learned a lot from this. For instance, recently my third or fourth motorcycle helmet was stolen again. I left it on the paid parking right on the bike, hoping that security will keep an eye on it, and I decided to go to the ocean. When I returned, I saw that there is no helmet anymore, and nobody was able to explain me who took it, how can I get it back, so I bought a new one. The situation is unpleasant, yes, I agree with this. But if you look deeper, you'll see that actually it teaches me to take better care of my things. I almost never had anything stolen from me, and I expected that it will be the same forever. But this case, it reminded me about the opposite. Moreover, until that very moment, I also left my laptop and other equipment, hoping for the honesty of other people. It turns out that now I lost a little of money, but learned quite important lesson, and definitely will not repeat it again in the future. When purchasing a new house will be the same for me as buying a new helmet today, I will say thank you, Kirill, thank you very much that you lost a bit of money at that time back in the days, but learned. So, is it worth to pay a small amount of money to become more experienced? Yes, definitely, I really believe it. Would I like to go back in time to that particular day, to that moment, to take the helmet with me to the ocean? No, for sure, 100% no, because experience is much more valuable. By this logic, I never feel sorry for my losses and mistakes as long as I learn from them, and I advise you to do the same. The third conclusion is in 90% of cases, the absolute maximum what I can lose is my assets, but I can get them back later. You shouldn't fear mistakes, and usually it's worth to take higher risk in the sake of a larger piece of a pie. People don't do this. They don't want to let with nothing, and here self-confidence and self-esteem come. When you are sure that you will get out from any situation, you don't have this fear that will prevent you from moving forward. I advise you to be extremely careful with non-renewable assets like time and health. Anything other, it can be returned. If the mistake will cause the problems with your heart, I would think twice before making the leap of faith. If it costs money, okay, the experience will stay with me and I'll return my cash later. In this case, the risk is justified, but be prudent. Risking $1 million for the sake of nothing, almost nothing, it's irrational. Think about how much time and effort you should invest in order to make $1 million, and how valuable is the lesson that you can learn from this case. If the values are comparable, take the risk. If not, just wait for the better moment, it will come soon. Don't be afraid to lose some physical things. Self-confidence, interest in life, faith in the future, excitement, they are much more important than anything else. Always evaluate the risk-return. It's like in any investment, if you risk more, you have to potentially get the better reward. If the proportion is maintained, so here everything is in its place, and here's up to you whether to act or wait for the better time. I had situations when I lost very serious money that are enough for many people to live for years. It was painful. Would I return that money and give up the experience that I learned? No, I won't sell the part of myself for cash. This is the part of the process by which I'm the person I am, and I'm proud of it. No matter what happens, I'll stay strong and get my money back. This is mostly about the thinking. I hope these ideas make sense and I managed to briefly explain my perception of mistakes. Making miscalculations, it's normal, is a part of any progress and any process. But the most important thing is to learn from them. If you will do this, you will have the plan for any scenario and nothing will be able to lead you astray. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. You know, I highly appreciate it. So if you found this video useful, give me your like. If you didn't, give me your dislike, leave the comment below, follow my YouTube channel, and see you in 2 days, guys. Thank you.